This is Chris with Tactical Skills Development. Probably like a lot of you, I'm an AR guy, right? My time in the military, carried an M4, contracting, carried an M4. I love my AR platforms, but in the last couple of years, I've kind of gotten into the HK style delayed roller blowback with my HK91 and this one right here. So start out just like, every good video on YouTube shows. Anytime dealing with the gun, make sure it's empty, no magazine, nothing in the chamber, we're good to go. All right, so this is a Century C93. This is one of the PTR built C93s. When Century was getting to the tail end of their kits, I believe it was Bud's Gun Shop bought the remaining inventory and contracted PTR Industries to assemble them as a Bud's Gun Shop exclusive. So while it is a Century parts kit, it's got the same fit and finish as my PTR rifles, and it's extremely good. Been really pleased with it so far. Had it for a couple years, shot it a little bit, but I decided this year I'm gonna put some more time in and run this rifle in a couple of classes. All right. Compared to the AR-15, there are a couple of things ergonomically on this rifle that I wanted to take care of because I realized it's just not as efficient as the AR's design. The first thing I wanted was a red dot, right? Iron sights are great. I train with iron sights, but the advantages you get with a quality red dot make it worth having on. When I first went to the dot, I started out with an ARMS HK claw mount, or the HK style Stay-Nag claw mount, and as you can see, when you're running that claw mount on an HK style platform, that height over bore gets to be pretty high. Now it would sit just a little bit lower than this, but it causes you to run that cheek on the stock or have a cheek riser. I know there's a big movement to the taller mounts for passive night vision shooting. Your 193s or some of them that are a little over 2. I have not jumped into that game. Call it the brainwashing of nose to charging handle on an M16 or an M4 when you're running iron sights. I like having my cheek weld a little bit lower on. Right? So I changed out that ARMS mount for this low profile clamp on, all right, that allows me to run a low profile dot. So 6-hour Romeo 5, not a super high end dot. It's not my Aimpoint T1 or my EOTech I got on some of my ARs, but I have several of these from on my FAL to a semi-auto 12 gauge, and they haven't failed me. So figured I'd put one on here and see how it does, right? Ergonomically, right, outside of the sight picture with an optic, what I found is the grip module on these has a pretty sharp angle on the back. It's pretty squared off, pretty sharp. When you get a good shooting grip, it really digs into the webbing of the hand between the thumb and index finger, right? So when I try to drive my thumb up there to get to that safety, it is not the most comfortable thing, that distance, right? To account for that, I picked up a Magpul SL grip module for HK platforms, and that does eliminate that hard edge and should decrease the distance from the safety to my thumb, as well as make it more comfortable, right? Even with that safety, the factory safety, it works, it's not bad, right? But it can still be a little bit of a challenge to get to, right? You can see here, right, as I'm trying to get to it, I can barely get the tip of my thumb on it. And if I got that rifle locked in, there's not a ton for me to get to. So I picked up, to go with that Magpul grip module, the ESK, the Enhanced Selector Kit that they make specifically for that, and I'm going to throw that in there and see how that does. So we know the rifle's clear. We're going to go ahead and start tearing it down and swap those parts. All right, so the rifle's clear, and we're going to break this thing down and start swapping parts, see how it feels. So pull that pin. Never take one of these apart, right? Single pin takedown on the 5.56 rifles. It's a little bit stiff. Sometimes it takes a little bit of wiggle and a little bit of force to knock that stock down in the back. Just slides off and set to the side. At this point, all right, little downward tap on that grip module. Grip module is out. Trigger pack, right? Rotate that selector safety 12 o'clock, comes out. And you set it off to the side, and the entire trigger pack will come out of that grip module, right? You set it right here. So that's your standard PTR style grip module. You can see it's got that hard angle right here. That was what I was talking about. That should be a lot more comfortable without that. So we're just going to set this to the side, grab the Magpul module, all right, which looking at it, I can already tell it's going to be a whole lot more comfortable we don't have this sharp angle, it's nice and rounded. All right, trigger pack in. Some guys have said that they've had issues getting their trigger packs to fit. No, this one's nice and snug, but easily went in, so I'm real happy about that. All right. The safety is what holds that trigger pack in, so the factory safety I'm going to set over here with that grip module and grab the ESK. Right? The ESK comes set up for a single side selected for a right-handed shooter. So just like the factory one, insert with it at 12 o'clock, drive it across, and rotate down. So it's got a really positive detent, right? But it's not stiff to rotate. It actually feels really, really good and definitely makes it easier to get to that selector. The nice thing about this grip module is it's designed for safe and semi rifles, but if you have your registered sear pack and you want that third position, this little stop right here, you can grind it off and you'll be able to rotate to the third position, right? Nice little feature they have. Now we're gonna throw this thing back together, get it into position, drive it up, definitely a little bit snug here. All right, I'm gonna give a little bit of a tap forward. Make sure she lines up, that looks pretty good. All right, and then we're just gonna slide the stock back on. A little bit of a tap, looks like it drove it in and lined it up pretty nicely. All right, didn't need the mallet for that. I'm gonna drive that pin in. When you put these pins in, whether it be the rear stock pin or the front handguard pin, start it from the side that's going to be closest to your body, right? One of the things that, that they always say to do that is so you don't inadvertently push that pin out. Because if I bring it in from the outside, driving in this way, and I have it against my body and it's bouncing off kit and it's hitting spare mags on a plate carrier or chest rig, it could push that pin and start working its way out. So always start from the side of the rifle that's going to be closest to your body and drive that pin out. All right, and that's it right there. So the selector itself is held in for single side, right? It's in position, but it does come with options for this offside. So looking at the kit that it has, you can do just a little nub that goes in there, so you only have a single side safety, or it includes a screw that allows you to put a mirror image selector, the same one that's on the other side of the rifle, same size and dimensions, allow you to make it ambi. Or if you have huge hands and that gets in the way, it looks like they got a short, nub selector on that right side of the rifle. So I will likely put this in here because looking at it, if I just put it into position and drive it down, it's not even contacting my hand. So that's not going to be an issue. Comes with a supplied screw. Dump this out of here. I already got the Allen wrench right size for it. I'll go back through. It's got a little bit of a thread locker. I'll likely add a little bit of my own Loctite to it later. Here, call it. And just tighten her up. Make it nice and snug. All right. With that, oh yeah, way more comfortable. That sharp angle is gone. It's not digging into my webbing. It's a whole lot easier to reach the selector, right? It doesn't hit my hand. So you can see right here, all right, if I turn this way, how much farther back it extends. Makes it very easy, even when I'm up in the shoulder pocket, to drive that selector down and to get it back on safe. So that will be fantastic for this class that I'm running here in March. All right, so that was the install. And the next upgrade I'm looking at potentially doing would be an M-LOK handguard on this thing. Not sure when I'm going to do that. It's kind of a feel like it, not necessarily need to, since it's not my primary rifle, but it may be something that I add in here. So haven't shot with this thing on yet, but I would say if you find the grips uncomfortable, this was definitely a worthwhile investment to just comfort-wise and ergonomics to this rifle, to the HK style. And from my research understanding, they also fit the HK91 series, so if you got a 308, that works as well. Nice little addition they did with this grip module. is it has a storage compartment. Pop this thing out, and they include a little, I think it's 3 ounce lube bottle, right? So you want to keep your rifle running during class, you can fill it up. It actually fits into the cap right here. It gives you a quick access to some lube for that rifle while you're running it. So should be fun. I've shot this rifle a little bit, zeroed it just the other day with this new red dot. So look forward to heading down to Gun Set in March and running it through their rifle fundamentals class. So appreciate your time. Again, Chris with TSD, take care.